Hi guys, Stingy Prepper here. Today we are going to talk about prepping basics and how to put together a get-on bag. I'm going to show you all the content of my personal get-on bag, and as usual, you are only going to see the gear that brings the best value for money in my opinion. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the total price for all that gear. So let's get to it. Just a little note for the people new to prepping. What is exactly a get-on bag and what do we use it for? So a get-on bag is basically a bag containing all the gear that is gonna help you to go back home comfortably and safely in case of an emergency situation. So emergency situation means it could be a massive scale power outage, could be a war starting suddenly in your whereabouts, could be flooding, could be earthquake. So any types of emergency situation, and what you want to have with you in that case is a backpack full of the necessary gear to get you home safely and comfortably. So that's what we are talking about right now. So let's start with the content of this get-on bag. First things first, to me, the piece of gear that is the most important in a get-home situation is the footwear. So that's a topic, a piece of gear that is most of the time never talked of in any get-on bag videos, but I really want to talk about it because also as a hiker, to me, this is the most important piece of gear, especially if you are gonna walk from 5 to 30 kilometers. If you don't have the right footwear, it's just a loss of time and energy. So obviously, I'm not gonna have always a pair of comfortable footwear in my get-on bag. Most of the time, it's gonna be in the back of my truck. But for the sake of the demonstration, today I wanted to show you it can also fit in my get-on bag. So nothing too fancy. Basically, I've got a plastic bag with all the footwear stuff inside. I have here 2 elastic bungees to tie up loose pants if me or my girlfriend are wearing loose pants. I have 2 pair of ankle compressions, and I have 2 pair of socks, comfortable socks, and 2 pair of sneakers. So one for my girlfriend, just any random sneakers will work, it just needs to be comfortable, and 1 pair for myself. That's it. Very first important piece of gear, the most important of all. Like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be in the get-on bag as long as you have it on your footwear already, comfy pair of shoes, or in the truck, it's working already. But for the sake of the argument, I wanted to show you I can also wear it in my get-on bag if needed. So, without this footwear gear, as you can see, the backpack is already much lighter. That's how it's gonna be normally for me. Like I said, my footwear is normally in my truck, so that's more like it. Super light now. And I'm gonna show you now the second most important piece of gear for me. And this is the gear related to water. Remember, we might have to work 30 kilometers into the heat, so obviously that's very important to have your water topic covered. So what I always do anytime I go out of the house with this get-on bag, I will have a filled 50 centiliter stainless steel water bottle. So that's the first piece of gear related to water. And second one are water tablets. In this little pouch that I will empty for you later, I have 4 water tablets. Sorry. And that's gonna be enough for 4 liters of water. So where I live, I have a lot of little streams around because I live next to the mountains. I have obviously also big rivers in the city, so I would be able to collect water in this water bottle and to filter it up to 4 liters. So that's how I cover my water topic. So here are my 2 items to cover water. Now let's talk about food. You're gonna need energy to get going for up to 24 hours walking outside. So obviously this is also a very important topic. So third piece of gear is gonna be actually food. Pretty easy in my case. I have here in the top front of my bag a food compartment, as you can see, super easy and fast to access. And what's gonna be inside is gonna be first a full tablet of chocolate. Then I'm gonna have 50 grams of salty snacks, in that case fried corn. And last but not least, I'm gonna have 4 energy bars. So all this is meant to be enough for 2 people and 24 hours. Obviously that's not ideal, but it's gonna be enough to get you going, and 24 hours is really the worst case scenario. Normally it should get much faster. So that's it guys for the food. Number 4 is gonna be all the gear related to shelter. Remember, in our scenario, in our case study, we have the possibility of facing SHTF at night, and in that case we want to shelter in place. So it's very important that we have a few pieces of gear that is gonna help us in that case to have a decent night of heat. So I have again here, very easy, a full compartment dedicated to shelter. That's actually normally the laptop compartment, but I'm never walking around with my laptop. So let's have a look what's inside. So first I'm gonna have an extra scarf. It's gonna help you to sleep at night. And second, actually have a sitting pad made of this little piece of foam, also for a laptop normally, and a nylon bag. So in the case I'm building a shelter, that's gonna add a little layer of comfort and insulation for the ground, but it can also simply help us to take a break and sit on the ground during our hike. And finally, to build a shelter to sleep at night, I have 2 brand new heavy duty trash bags or compactor bags. So it's very convenient, don't underestimate it. It can help you to build a shelter in a very fast manner and for very cheap. And it's gonna keep you dry at night if it's raining. To go together with those compactor bags and help me to set them as a tarp, basically, I have 2 short pieces of paracord. And last but not least, to keep us warm at night, we have 2 survival blankets. So those are the cheap ones. I don't rely on this type of emergency blankets for long-term use. This is really only in the case of a get-home situation to spend one night outside. And the advantage of those 2 survival blankets is that they are super lightweight. That's why that is the type of survival blankets I carry in a get-home bag. A final note on shelter. I'm usually not too worried about spending a night outside because I'm always extra careful with the clothing I'm wearing when I go out. Always keep in mind that your clothing is your portable shelter, so you should always have the right layers based on the weather outside, on the season of the year, and that's something I'm always super careful about. So please always get out with the right pieces of clothing and have a little shelter system in your get-on bag, and everything should be fine. Now let's go into the organizer department in front of my bag and talk about the 5th topic, that is first aid. So I have this nice organizer here, and that's where I keep my boo-boo kit. So I'm gonna have here anything necessary to take care of my feet, basically including band-aids. I will also have something a bit different, that is wound spray, so basically disinfectant but specially made for wounds. And I will have also, for this topic, this special band-aid that I have here on a little medicine box, that is basically kind of a soft skin, moleskin. I find it super comfortable, and that's typically what you're gonna put on one of your toe if you have a huge blister. So also very convenient to have. Now for hygiene purposes, I also have a classic hand disinfectant and a labello. And last but not least, regarding first aid, I have a little medicine box that you saw earlier, and it's simply to carry with me medicines I know I or my girlfriend would need on a typical day. Now actually something I forgot to mention earlier, also for your hygiene, I always take with me a classic pack of tissue and some wet wipes, in that case antibacterial. Topic number 6, fire. So it actually comes a bit late in this video, I realize this now, but it's okay because actually in a get home situation there is not much chance when you will need to actually make a fire except at night. But obviously I have the tools necessary for this. I have here a big lighter. It will come on top of a mini big lighter that I have in my EDC. So I have 2 lighters to be able to start a fire. And I have basically a fire tinder box. Just a medicine box that I close with some duct tape. And the content, I'm not gonna go through it, but basically there are 3 fire starters, man-made, so very efficient, burning very easy, catching a spark very easily, and it's gonna also work under bad weather condition. And I have a few bits of papers, and that's about it. But I've tested this. For me it works very easily with lighters, and I want, again, nothing too fancy in a get home situation. I want to make it work fast and easy. I'm not gonna play with my fire steel in that case. I just wanna go home. So if I need a fire at night, I use lighters and man-made fire starters. Now topic number 7 is gonna be survival tools. So on this fire tinder box I have a hairband, so that's not really a survival tool, but that's definitely something I need because I have long hair, so I have always extra pairs of hairband. So there is one here. Very important, super easy access is a light. So it's just signal light, red light, with different functions, and it's gonna help me see the content of my organizer section here at night, and obviously it's gonna get me visible if I'm walking at night along the street. Another piece of lighting is a headlamp. Super important. Again, as a hiker, that's always my number 1 choice when it comes to lighting, because I want to have free hands sometimes for my trekking poles when I'm using trekking poles. So I will always have a headlamp. Again here, different functions, and it's 200 lumens in that case, more than enough for what I want to achieve just walking home, more normally on asphalt streets, so really no problem. Now to help me walk in the right direction, I have, of course, a little compass. I will actually free it for you to see from closer. It is actually a little multi-tool. So I was saying compass, so it's a button compass. Obviously, as you can see, there is also a whistle. And last but not least, there is a little thermometer, as you can see. So that's actually a very cool little piece of gear that I bought online on a local e-commerce here in Bulgaria, and I'm really happy about it. It's just super convenient to have these 3 little survival tools in one. So that would be for lighting and navigation. And actually what is still on my wish list is a local map, printed map of my area. I already have the downloaded version on my phone, but I also want a printed version, so that's on my wish list. In this organizer I also have a pen, so to take notes obviously, and I have a little tube of instant glue, mostly for repairs. And the last piece of gear that I have in this organizer is a handsaw, and it's actually quite a heavy duty one, and obviously it could have been together with a shelter topic, but it's in my organizer with my survival tools, so here it comes. It's a super good one, on the pricey side for a handsaw, but I want something sturdy, so if I have to cut a few trees to make a debris shelter during this one night, in case of a get home situation, I will have something more than decent to cut some trees, and it's also super lightweight, so I go for this handsaw. That's it for the organizer, guys. Now I'm gonna go back to the main compartment of my get home bag, that is potentially the shopping bag compartment. Very important also piece of gear, I also could have mentioned it earlier, is extra clothing or rain gear. So I don't want to talk too much about clothing today because we talk about a get home bag, but typically in this season, in March, it's raining a lot where I live, so I will have something to cover my backpack from the rain, and I will have a rain poncho that is really gonna keep me dry. Normally I would have good clothing already with me, like I told you, but with an extra poncho that is kind of heavy duty, I'm gonna stay really dry even in a super heavy rain. Never underestimate the rain, it's gonna get you soaked if you walk more than 1 hour outside. Trust me, as a hiker, I know. So I take, in my case, a rain poncho as extra, always with me in the rain season. And another piece of rain gear I wanted to mention is the highly underestimated umbrella. Guys, always keep an umbrella next to you, ideally on the side mesh of your backpack. It's gonna be super convenient because the rain is not gonna be pouring on you, it can go on and off, and it's way more convenient to use your umbrella rather than put your rain poncho and take it out of the bag and in again and so on. So super important piece of gear, guys. Buy a good umbrella and keep it in your get home bag. Now I have a few other spare clothing items. First, let's call this clothing, but I have a surgical mask and gloves. I have an extra hairband again, and I believe this one could help me to do a makeshift tourniquet. It will not be ideal, but I don't want to carry a real tourniquet in my get home bag, so I have this kind of super strong hairband, and I believe it could help me also in that case. And yeah, basically I have this little pouch here that is normally for an extra pair of glasses, so I definitely do have an extra pair of glasses here, and I have a few other essentials. Toilet paper tablets, I have 6 zip ties for repairs, and I have also actually earplugs to help me better sleep at night if I am in a noisy environment and if I need to. And obviously, as you can see, I have some duct tape wrapped around also for repairs. And something that you can also see in this main compartment are 2 bags that are actually for shopping. So that's a bag I'm gonna have with me on a daily basis when I go out. So I also have 2 actually shopping bags made of textile, and it's also gonna help me to pre-filter water if I want to get rid of any sizable debris before I use my water tablet. So 2 shopping bags that I can also use for pre-filtering water. So that's it, guys. We have been through all the content of my get-on bag. And as you can see, there is really nothing too fancy. I try to stay focused on my main goal here is just to walk home as fast as possible and in a comfortable way. But I don't carry a whole load of heavy gear. I try to really keep it simple and cheap, to be fair. And that's it. That's really all what we want, is to go home safely, kind of in a comfortable way, and not to carry loads, super heavy loads of gear with us that is just gonna slow us down. So now that I'm done showing you all the content of my get-on bag, I'm pretty sure some of you are super surprised that I was not showing a knife, for example, or other things for self-defense. And probably I've got some heart racing right here. But don't worry, guys, keep in mind that I'm also wearing my EDC at all times, and that's why there are a few items that are actually in my EDC and not listed in my get-on bag. So I'm gonna give you a glimpse of what's in my EDC, and yes, there is a knife. Yes, I'm taking care of self-defense in there. Let's have a quick look. If you want to have a better look at all my EDC items, please follow the link here and it's gonna get you to my EDC video. Now guys, the moment you have all been waiting for, I'm gonna tell you the total price of my get-on bag. So a grand total of $170 for the bag plus the gear, or 143 euros. So the price of the bag in my case is $77 or 65 euros, and the total price of the gear that I've been showing to you guys is $93 or 78 euros. Now we can go have a deeper look into this price. So here, as you can see on the screen, this is my prepping dashboard listing all my off-base prepping projects. I'm actually gonna do a full video about this dashboard, but here we focus on my get-on bag prepping project, and I've listed the price here again, 143 euros in total or $170. And yeah, you will have here the full details, the full list of the gear that is in the pack, again with potential price for each of the items. Of course, it's gonna vary depending where you live, depending exactly which kind of brand you buy, but the idea here is to give you just some examples and some big picture. Now, the price of the items as they are listed here, you will notice that sometimes it's €0, and basically it's €0 when they are simply items that I could gather in my house because they have nothing special, they are not prepping items, so to say. And that's also a reason why my total price is so low. It's because many of the items that I have in my get-on bag, such as here a pen, or if we go a bit lower, surgical mask, surgical gloves, they are just stuff that I grabbed and put in my bag. And that's how you get such a low price. So I'm gonna go more into details with this dashboard here and my different prepping projects and gear list. So stay in touch, guys. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to check in the description to discover the links to some of my other videos, such as my backpack review or my prepping dashboard. And please let me know in the comments what I could add to my get-on bag. I'm actually looking for a tactical pen, so let me know if you know any good one. Thanks for watching, guys. Stingy Prep out.